All right, we are at the stage where we can make our conclusion based on the data that we gathered. So after we've gathered our data and made a bar graph, we have information that we can make a decent conclusion based off of. Okay, so it says here, based on the data, I concluded that my original hypothesis, and if you're doing hypothesis one, the lighter the airplane, the farther it will travel, or maybe you change the hypothesis to be the heavier, the denser the airplane, the farther it will travel. It's really up to you. But you use your original hypothesis, and then you say was correct or incorrect. So you have to choose one because either it's correct or incorrect based on your data. So if you go and you look at your graph based on the measurements that you took for all 9 throws for all 3 prototypes, if, for instance, you've got data that says the larger one, or the heavier one flew much farther on average than either of the 2 smaller ones, well, then you could say, well, in this case, it would be incorrect, right? And so that's how you fill it out. And you can add your text here. You can edit it, highlight it, and replace it with your conclusion based on your data. Okay, so if it's not clear yet, it should be now that you're just adding your bits to this presentation. You're adding your data and your conclusion, and after you've chosen your hypothesis. Okay, so you're working on your own copy, right? You got this in Classroom this week. So if you've chosen hypothesis one, then you add your own conclusion, okay? And then if you're doing hypothesis two, if it'll load, the hypothesis could either be the lighter the airplane, the farther it will travel. Well, hypothesis one should be size. So let's change that. A little bit behind the scenes look. All right, the larger the airplane, is it gonna work? There we go. The farther. What is that? Farther. The farther it will travel. There we go. Okay. So sorry for that confusion, but you're choosing one of the 2 hypotheses. So depending on what you chose at the beginning of your experiment, then the only slide you have to edit is whichever hypothesis you chose. And you can even you can delete the other slides for the other hypotheses because you don't need it. You've chosen one of the 2. All right, and so you can edit this any way that you want. I hope that's clear by now, that your job is to create your own presentation based on my template and direction. So hopefully you have good data and you can make a sound conclusion based on that data. And this is where you put it in one of these 2 slides, again, depending on which hypothesis you chose. Okay. Hope this goes well. I think this is a fun experiment. Bye.